What is going on, guys? It's Brownwoodz TCG and we are back at it with another breakdown video. Today we are breaking down my Dragon versus Vegapunk, a crazy match. I played it against my homeboy the Pinkdragontcg, and all I'm gonna tell you guys is that this was a crazy match. Super high level gameplay on both sides. I'm not gonna tell you who won. You're gonna have to watch the video to find out, but I will tell you guys, you're gonna learn a lot this match. You're gonna learn so much. So getting right into it, we got the OP07 Dragon versus the OP07 Vegapunk. Both are really crazy leaders. One of them has an ability which is Dragon. His ability is to move to attach Dawn from one character to another, or from one leader to a character. And Vegapunk's ability is a little bit more complex. You tap one Dawn and you can either play a 5-cost or less Egghead on the field or on top of your life face up. And right here our opponent uses the ability just how I said and plays the I forget what that guy's name is, but it's pretty much draw 2 trash 1. And then he plays the Katakuri. Oh no, he doesn't play a Katakuri. He trashed the Katakuri and the ace, and he was just showing me what the Katakuri did. And right here he's telling me what the Katakuri does. On play, you look at the top card of your opponent's life, and if you have less life, you gain rush. So a whole lot of things just happened on Vegapunk's one Dawn turn. So as you can see, if you're not careful, if you're not on point, you can easily lose a match against a Vegapunk. So back to me, I got the brand new Fire Dawn. Oh my god, I'm so happy I got those. Brand new Fire Dawn, tap 2, play the Dawn, and I'm gonna go ahead and grab that off the top. So Edison, I just remember the name. Edison sends 5 to life, and we take it. We take that life, and my opponent plays a Shaka, taps 2 to play a blocker. So once again, we're seeing our opponent here use the Vegapunk leader ability to play on turn 1 Edison, on turn 2 Shaka. So back to us. We got 4 Dawn, 4 of the brand new Fire Dawn. Just got it. It's all common, but we're working our way up to the hollow. I tap for Karasu, reduce his blocker by 1, bring him down to 5k, and then I swing 5 directly to leader. My opponent is going to trigger this Frankie off life. Not good for us. Draw a card and play this card. So now we're looking at a pretty menacing board from our opponent here. He has gotten 2 characters onto the board and then triggers the 3rd one. And then he does have that blocker too. So my thought process was like, okay, interesting, because usually Vegapunk starved me. And this guy was just sending me attacks. He was sending 5 to life. I give him the Nami right there. I don't want to go down 2 life in 1 turn. So he taps 1 to use the leader ability again 3 turns in a row. Uses his ability to KO this Karasu, which is a very important piece in my deck. My opponent plays this Katakuri here, looks at the top of my life, reveals Sanji, and places it at the bottom of my life. And then he swings 6 because he has rush. I give another 2k out of my hand, or it's not another, but I give a 2k out of my hand to block it because I don't want 3. Right, he just sent 3 attacks this turn. My opponent here is like, oh, like, you feel this pressure? I was like, hey, I don't feel no pressure at all. Your board may look a little menacing, especially with the reject Dawn, but it's just me and the Dawn versus the world right now, to be fair. So right here, back to us. 3 plus 3 is 6. We're at our 6th Dawn turn. As Dragon here, I'm really considering my options, right? I have 3 targets that I could swing at that are rested with a 6k blocker, and Vegapunk at 1 life. And he has another blocker on the field, so he has a lot of protection. I guarantee you my opponent feels very safe right now. So I have to just kind of figure out what the best course of action is. Like, am I aggressive to life here? Am I aggressive to board? A lot of people struggle in these key moments of games where it's like, man, I don't know what to do. Should I attack for board here? Should I attack life? And usually, more often than not, people misplay during these key moments, and that is ultimately what, if you look back at your games, it all comes down to one key moment. And if you can identify that key moment whenever you're playing your games, and recognize them, that's how you get better. It's by recording your games, by seeing where you could have made a better move, where you could have improved, where you could have countered out an extra hit, where you could have taken the life instead of countering it out. protecting a character on your field versus not protecting it. So that's why I highly recommend that if you have a webcam, if you have an iPhone, I'm recording this on an iPhone right now. If you have any sort of camera, nowadays everybody has cameras, record your games. Invest $15 on a tripod, record your games. Right here I got a tripod set up. Yeah man, and that's how you're gonna get better at the end of the day, because we're all playing the game. You have to have fun, but like every time that we play we get better, right? Win or lose. So back to the game right here. I think my opponent was just giving me an explanation on like a certain play style, a certain play set, which is cool. I'm always welcoming brand new ideas, brand new ways to play the deck. So right here I'm going to attach one Don to my leader. Oh no, I take it back. I tap 2 Don first. Who am I going to play here? Maybe another Don? No, I'm going to play a Koala. So I reduced the Shaka. No, I reduced the Edison by 3,000. So Edison is at 2,000. Okay. And then I'm going to swing. The Don swings 3 into 2. Baiting that my opponent gives me a block here to rest his Shaka. And he does. So he does exactly what I wanted him to do. I mean, yeah, it would have been nice for him to not block that. But, you know, he goes ahead and blocks it with Shaka, which leaves his life directly open for a 5k attack. Boom, he gives me a 1k counter out of hand. Cool. I'm cutting down his hand. I sacrificed this attack from the Don in hopes that it would give me a body. But, you know, I'm slowly chipping away at his hand right here. I tap another Zoro and I swing 5 again to his character this time. With him having such little cards in hand, that kind of tells me, okay, I'm dwindling down his defensive resources in his hand. So let me see if this attack goes through, and it does go through. So that's valuable information right there. Now I'm thinking, okay, he probably doesn't have enough counter to really counter out a whole lot of more things. Right here we can look at his hand. He has 3 cards in hand. So I tap the Bella Betty here as the last thing that I'm going to do for this turn. I grab the dragon and I add that to hand. So really good turn on my part, I would say, because like, right, if you guys remember last turn, he had 5 bodies on the field. He had 3 rested, a Shaka, and a blocker. And now I go from just having it the Don to having a full board of 5 or 4. So not only is it helping me, because yes, I'm matching his board card for card, it just confuses my opponent. I feel like now he has to deal with like Arrested Zoro, 2 active characters. Like now he's not really so focused on my life. He has other targets to divert his focus to, which is at the end going to protect my life. So here he attaches Don and he swings heavy at Zoro, which is fine by me. Like I want my opponent to use as much Don as possible, you know, whenever they're sending attacks. And then he attacks into the Don. And then he uses leader ability to place Nico Robin on top of his life. So this would be the first time that he uses his ability to play it on top of his life. Yeah, so back to us. My opponent here, he went for board. So if you guys noticed, he attacked with both of those characters to board. He didn't swing into my life once because, like I said, I'm giving him things to worry about. I'm giving him the Zoro to worry about. I'm giving him the Don rested to worry about. So I mean, he swung 5, 6, 7. He swung 8k into the Don. So that's overkill if you ask me. But he probably just didn't have anything else to play in hand. So back to me. I tap a big 8 Don and I bring down Rayleigh, baby. I bring down Rayleigh. I minus Shaka by 3k and KO Shaka. And then I give -2 to Frankie, I believe. Yep, Frankie. So I minus 3k to Shaka to bring him down to 3 and then KO him because Rayleigh KOs a 3k or less on play. And I give -2 to Frankie. All right. And then now, you know, now we get to have some fun, right? His Frankie's at 2k. I have 2 characters on my board that can swing into that Frankie. So let's see how we end up playing it here. I swing 3 into Frankie, 3 to 2. See if my opponent gives me a 2k out of hand. He gives me a 2k off of this attack. So super valuable for us. Okay, my opponent has 2 cards in hand left. And then I swing 5 to Frankie, 5 to 2. I don't know why I didn't swing with his Bella Betty, 2 to 2. And then I pass. Maybe because I wanted to keep it active. I don't know. That's kind of interesting on my part. I could have swung 2k to 2k. Oh no, wait. Frankie was at 3. I'm sorry. Yeah, Frankie was at 3. Because he's at 5 normally, and then Rayleigh subtracts him by 2. Okay. So that's why I didn't swing with him there. I was right. Okay, so my opponent is at 9 Dawn. A big 9 Dawn turn. So back to us, right? We're slowly taking care of my opponent's board here, right? We didn't panic. My opponent had this crazy board. We didn't panic. I just chose the correct choice, which was to attack his board that turn. Yes, he had 1 life. But, you know, you have to know as a player when there's a moment to just tilt on the axis and go for a life, or tilt on the axis and go for a character on board. So that's what separates a really great player, a really great One Piece player, than an average One Piece player, in my opinion. So my opponent attaches a whole bunch of Dawn and swings with 6, 7, 8, 9k into Koala. I'm happy with him doing that, right? I wouldn't have protected it even if it was a 6k into 3. Okay, and then he passes to us. All right. So let's see. We're at a big 10 Dawn here. Big 10 Dawn. Over here just reading what this character does, because I'm like, damn, do I want to KO it or not? So I do have a Robin in hand. I was considering to like playing the Robin, KO something, and then attack into life. I had a couple different options here, but to be honest with you guys, I felt great. I felt in a commanding spot right here. Having 1 Rayleigh on the field last turn to like pretty much take care of 2 bodies. This card is so broken. If you play any red deck, you need to seriously give Rayleigh a look. Rayleigh is extremely strong. His stat line is 8-9, which is 8 cost, 9k power. But then he has a crazy ability, which is on play, give 1 character minus 3k, give 1 character minus 2k, then KO a character that's 3k or less, right? But then on top of that, it says the characters that you subtracted power, they remain like that until the start of your opponent's next turn, or until the end of your opponent's next turn. Pretty much, they're gonna have that neg buff, or that debuff the whole following turn. So my opponent right here shows on his hand he has a Yamato and a 1 cost, which is, I think it's a Rayquaza. So I mean, he just showed us what his hand is there, right? So let's see how many targets he could KO with that Yamato. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 life to play with. So I play a second Rayleigh and I give Shaka -3 and KO Shaka, and I give Katakuri -2 to bring Katakuri down to a total of 4,000 power. So back to us. We're gonna attach 2 Dawn to Bello and swing 4k to Katakuri. Seeing what my opponent does here, he gives us Katakuri. I swing 5k to lead. All right, and my opponent taps 1 to give me the Rayquaza, which I believe is like a yellow rad beam, and I pass without swinging with my Rayleighs. I didn't swing because I didn't want to hit that trigger, give my opponent 2 cards, and to give him a better play this turn, right? Because I'm like, yeah, I can attack his life, but he's just gonna draw 2, and then that might give him the tools that he needs to survive an extra round. So instead of him having +3 cards to start his next turn, he's only getting +1, because it'd be draw 2 from this trigger and draw 1 for turn, as opposed to just 1 for turn. My opponent adds a crazy amount of Dawn on this Shirahoshi and swings into my Bello, and I counter 8k. He swings 7 and I counter 8 because I am going for game next turn. Also, one thing that separates a good player from a great player is to know when to defend your board. A lot of people overprotect. A lot of people don't know, oh, I have so many, I'll just give it. Or I feel like another key for a great One Piece player is to know when to protect your board. Know that if you protect your board this turn, are you gonna have enough bodies to go for lethal next turn? That's the key, I feel. If you can master that, you can pretty much, you know, compete in every single game at every single level. So back to us. My opponent has 1 blocker in the field, has 2 life, and his top life is a trigger that lets him draw 2 cards. So I swing 5 to lead, and he gives me that card. Okay, cool. 5 to life. Happily. That kind of tells me that he doesn't have even a 1k counter, because otherwise he would have countered there. So now I really wasn't expecting him to just take that, so I just go ahead and swing 9 to lead here, just to see if he has the counter in hand. He doesn't have the counter in hand, but he probably is considering a trigger. He does. He hits a trigger and KOs my Bello Betty to prevent a 4th attack from coming through, which kind of changes my game plan a little bit. But you know, my opponent has no life. I have a full 10 Dawn up. You know what that means. You know what that means. I tap 8 for Dragon. Yeah, I don't play safe. I just tap 8 for Dragon. I give 2 rested Dawn, swing 10 to lead. He gives me the blocker. Use leader effect and move 2 Dawn over to Dragon. Add another and swing 12 lead. And that is all she wrote. Boom, there you have it. Crazy game, high level game. Hopefully you guys learned something from this. The 2 takeaways of this video was, 1, you need to know when to protect your board, and you need to know when to go for life. So when to protect your board, or you know, like, am I going to protect my characters or let them die? That's the first key. And the second key is on offense, when you're attacking your opponent, if you should attack their life or if you should attack their board. Those are the 2 takeaways from this video. As y'all saw here, I executed both of those perfectly, right? I maintained the tempo. I kept the offense on my side, offensive tempo. So there you have it. This was against my good friend Pinkdragon. We're always having bangers. This match went my way, but to be honest, we've had plenty of matches, and you know, it's always fireworks when we play. So hopefully you guys like this video. Please subscribe to the channel or follow wherever you're watching this: YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. And as always, I will catch you guys on the next one. Later.